Guys, how's it going YouTube? So today I thought that it'd be a good idea to kind of tell you my experience on planning a trip. Next week, I am heading over to Florida, and the week after that, I'll be heading over to San Francisco with my friends. So we planned out a whole entire trip of being in San Francisco and also being in Florida. So I'm going to give you some tips and advice that I took from the internet that really helped me plan out this trip. The first tip that I definitely recommend is by planning a trip in advance. For me, I planned the trip a year in advance so that I could see how many people were thinking of going, and so I can rearrange things and it wouldn't be such a big deal. So the next thing I pretty much did was tell my friends about it and kind of get ideas of what we should do for a trip. The next thing I did was look at the pros and cons of each idea that we had. So our first idea that we had was a road trip, but there were so many cons to it. We weren't old enough to rent out a car. It was just too much money for like hotels and food, and so we were all on a college budget. Then we finally found one that we thought was probably the easiest to accomplish. We decided to stay in one area, which was the San Francisco area, just because it was cheap, because we didn't have to always go stay in a hotel, because I do live in the Bay Area, so it was a lot easier to just stay here at my house, but like obviously stay in a hotel probably in the city for a night. It was also convenient because our transportation was very convenient. We could use the BART and it would take you everywhere around the Bay Area, San Francisco, etc. Once we figured out a plan, we tried figuring out everybody's availability. So definitely we were doing it in the summer, but we weren't sure when in the summer. And June was definitely not a good month just because I wasn't sure when I was getting out of school. And then August was also not a very good month because that was when everyone was gonna go back to school. So we thought July was probably the best option. The next thing we did was track flights. So we figured out the cheapest flight using kayak.com. Actually, we pretty much used a whole bunch of different websites to figure out what was going to be the cheapest flight. One advice that I took from the internet was to check on Tuesdays. On this website that I looked up, it said that the cheapest flights would be displayed on Tuesdays. You wanted to fly out on Wednesdays or Thursdays. You definitely don't want to fly out on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or a Monday, just because that would probably be the most expensive, because that's when everyone typically wants to fly out. So you kind of want to look at every airline as much as possible, because different airlines have different prices for tickets. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, so you want to keep track of all of the flights. Then once I figured out a few flights, I would talk to my friends and we would pick which one we would prefer to go on. We kind of wanted to figure out what was a good end date for our trip. So we decided a week would be okay, just because I know that I wasn't going to get a lot of time off from work. A whole week would definitely probably be the cheapest. What you want to do is stick to the date as much as you can. Try not to adjust the dates, just because it's going to be a lot more difficult when you adjust the dates. So you want to try not to change your date and stick to what you have. The next thing that you want to do is make a date of when you wanted to buy the plane tickets. What you want to do is to get everyone on the same flight so that no one is left behind. A specific date that you want to buy your tickets is preferably 3 months in advance on a Tuesday, just because when I looked it up online, it said that is probably the cheapest time to buy your ticket. Next thing we did was plan everything. You want to ask your friends what places they want to go to in that area that you've chosen and what they want to do. Maybe like some of your friends probably heard about things in that area, so that'd be like a really cool place to go. Next thing is pretty much make a list of places that you want to go. Then you want to figure out where each place is so that you can make kind of like an itinerary, so that you can easily go to different places based on where they are. You want to find out what is close to what. So right here is a map of San Francisco, and we are going to be going along the sides of the bay. And that's going to be our first day in San Francisco, and just because everything is pretty much close together, and we're going to end in the Golden Gate Bridge. So we're going to start off at the BART station and then head around the water towards the bridge. So it makes it a lot easier to get to places, and we wouldn't have to take like an Uber to a bunch of places or have to get back onto the BART just to get to another place. We could just walk to all these places just because they're fairly close to each other. So then the next thing I did was make a timeline. I figured out how long it would take to get to each place, how long we were gonna probably stay in that place. So I kind of just estimated everything. You want to leave plenty of time in between each thing, just in case if things happen or if you want to stay in that certain place for a while. Start with that starting date and work until the ending date. Try taking away things that aren't important for the trip that you don't think you really want to go to. So you want to keep the places that you really want to go to. Next step is to start executing. The next step is pretty much finding a hotel. Once we figured out where we wanted to go and when we wanted to go to those places, we decided that we wanted to save time by getting a hotel in the city for one night. We looked around the internet and found some possible hotels that we were thinking of staying in. Also want to consider the amount of people that are going. So we didn't want to pay so much, so we wanted to get just one room. And we knew that with the 6 people that we have that are going, that we only need 2 queen size beds, because I sleep in a queen size bed at the moment, and looking at it, I'm pretty sure like 3 of my friends can sleep in this bed, and then another 3 can sleep in another queen size bed. So that is the end of this video. If you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to ATA Productions, and if you guys are planning out a trip, comment down below where you're going and what tips that you recommend for us to take. And also, if you guys thought this video really helped you try and plan out a trip with your friends, give it a thumbs up. Also comment down below if you used any of these tips. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week.